Hello, Reluctant Rambler here, and today we'll be walking the nature trail in Swinley Forest. Approximately 6 miles long, easy, dog friendly, but because of very muddy conditions in certain areas, it will be very hard for people pushing prams, mobility scooter users and wheelchair users. Here we are at the lookout where we'll be starting our walk today. You'll find the coordinates in the video description, and if you look on issue.com, Reluctant Ramblers magazine, you will find public transport directions. There is a signpost here which has the nature trail marked on it and the Go Ape Centre. The nature trail starts beside the Go Ape Centre, which you'll find on the left hand side of the lookout. Going to the left, we will see this kissing gate, which we head through with the Go Ape Centre on the left hand side. Beside the Go Ape Centre we find this statue of an ape carved out of wood. As soon as we pass the Go Ape Centre we continue straight down this pathway until we hit the old Bracknell Road. As we walk around the nature trail we will see these markers which mark the nature trail, which are a white disc with a green arrow. But they are few and far between. After a short while you'll hit this gate. Just go straight through and continue in the same direction towards the old Bracknell Road. This part of Swinley Forest is mainly pine trees, but we do find some oak, some ash and some elm, plus rowan bushes. There was a large amount of rhododendron bushes here, but they're all now been cleared away. Here we are at the junction with the old Bracknell Road, which runs from our left to our right. There is a signpost here marking the nature trail on the right hand side, which sends us off to our left. But all that does is send us to another marker post, which then sends us to our right. So instead of doing this strange left to right movement, we'll just continue straight ahead. There is a signpost just there near those trees you can't really see, which marks the nature's trail, and this does actually point us in the right direction, which is to carry on going straight ahead. We're now on this small forest track and we continue along here until we come across Mill Pond, which we will find on our left hand side. We've now reached the pathway to Mill Pond, which is marked with this signpost, which sends us down this small forest path. The problem with this path is it's quite muddy all year round, as this patch shows, so unless you're wearing shoes which you're not terribly worried about getting rather muddy, the Mill Pond is definitely worth a visit. Mill Pond is a haven for water birds, and it's generally very quiet, so it's quite relaxing sitting here on the bank, especially on a very nice day. After a visit to Mill Pond, we head back the way we came and turn to our left back on the main track. A little further down on our right hand side we come across this open field. There's a little stream bowl in front of us, and in the summer and spring this is full of wildflowers. We continue along the track until we reach this junction. As a major path comes across, there is basically the end of the track. There is a small pathway on the other side carrying on. There is a marker here telling us to go to our left, which sends us down this pathway here. So we continue with our journey, turning off to our left hand side. We need to remember that Swinley Forest is a working forest, and they have what they call a 20-year plan, where they basically plant trees, let them grow for 20 years, cut them down for wood production. This area has been cleared recently, and they'll now leave it like this to let it grow normally. This will attract various plant life and animals. Then they'll replant it again in about 2 years' time. Swinley Forest does have a very good policy to help nature thrive, such as this grass area here. There's a small stream rolling through which helps insects of various kinds, butterflies, amphibians. You continue along this path until you come to another junction. Just go straight ahead. You'll see this farm on your left hand side. There's generally always sheep in these fields, so if you do have a dog with you, it may be a good idea to put on the lead at this point. We've now reached our next turning point, and we wish to go this small bridge which just goes over a ditch. This will take us onto a pathway which leads into the woods over on our right. Rippy Lake is just in front of us, which we'll head down towards once we go along this pathway. To make sure we are turning the right place, we have this tree in the field on our left hand side, which is just a little bit further past the farm buildings, which we've come past slightly earlier. The pathway we're now using is really no more than just a forest track, even though it's actually marked as a bridle way. It's quite small. We continue along the pathway until we get to the end of it, and that brings us out onto this path. At this point we now wish to turn left, so we're heading down this direction towards Ripley Lake. So we now continue down towards Ripley Lake by going off to our left. We've now reached Ripley Lake, and we just continue on the path which runs around the edge of the lake. We continue over this bridge, and just on the other side we will find a cascade. There is a bench here, and it's the only place you can actually take a rest along the walk until you get back to the lookout. Just continue along the lake, taking the stunning views across it. A short distance past the lake we come to our next turning point, and here we'll be turning off to our right. There is a signpost here which tells us that all visitors must turn to the right here. So off to the right we go. We now wander down this small track. In the early spring this area is covered with bluebells and snowdrops. It's absolutely beautiful. Along the nature trail we also find quite a few fungi, such as I believe this is a red cap. Not being an actual expert on British fungi, I have actually no idea what the rest of these are. They are definitely quite colourful. After a quick look at the fungi of Swinley Forest, we have now reached our next turning point, which is the next junction. There is a signpost here pointing out the lookout to the right. So as some see, we're now off to our right. We now come down this path and go through this old iron gate. We're now going to take the pathway off to our left, just past the gate. There is a signpost here marking the Nature's Walk, and it takes us onto a very small forest pathway. It is a little muddy in places, and it sort of winds around a little bit through the trees. After about 300 yards we come to the end of the pathway, and we have another forest track coming in from our left and one going off to our right. There is a signpost here marking Nature's Way and pointing to our right, so we're now off in that direction. We cross over a small stream and we come across this junction here with a pathway going off to our left, but we want to continue on bearing slightly to our right past those trees, then bear slightly to the left again, which then brings us onto this wide pathway here. We continue down this path until we hit our next turning point, where there is a marker again, marking Nature's Way, pointing off to the right, and we now head off to our right. We're now heading down this very wide track. In the spring and summer this is absolutely covered with wildflowers and heathers. Also I've seen deer here grazing on a few occasions. Following this track we will hit this very boggy section. Even in the summer it's still very wet. We continue along the pathway until we get to the next junction, where we come across this wide path. There is a signpost here saying Nature's Way to our right. This takes us back to the lake again. So at this point I always go off to my left and head up towards the old Bracknell Road. After turning left we continue along this wide path until we get to the old Bracknell Road, where we'll find this signpost telling us to go off to our right. So we head along the old Bracknell Road back towards the lookout. After about a mile we come back to the pathway which we were following to go back down to Mill Pond. This time we go to our left, following the signpost here, which takes us back to the lookout. And here we are back at the lookout where we finish our walk today. If you found this video useful, please like, as it helps the channel. A full description of the walk with maps can be found at issue.com in the Reluctant Ramblers magazine. Thank you for watching.